5 shots on goal, but Joe, he was all around the net. I mean, the goal that he scored was off of the rebound. He showcased his shot with Pugh Suter and Berggren. That line put on a net front presence clinic tonight.
Yeah, they did. You know, like I said, they're an undersized line. You know, especially being down on ice level there tonight, Alex. You know, these big D. You mentioned Adam Larson, Alexiak. I mean, just mountains back there.
Brandon Montour.
You know, Brandon Montour. You look at, for a line like Suter, Berggren, and then Dylan Holloway, they're just a group of guys that, you know, they have to find a way to be successful in the offensive zone. And when you're getting outmatched by that type of size, you have to figure out a way to get leverage. And there was a couple little plays in this game. Suter had a great one in that third period. You know, the way they are so smart about getting position over possession.
Yeah.
You know, that to me is everything. You know, and what I mean by that is, if, you know, a lot of young kids, when you're chasing the game of hockey and there's one puck on the ice, you think just possession. Just get the puck, hold on to the puck, get the puck, go. If there's a 50-50 puck and 2 players are going at it, you know, both players, young players, are thinking the same thing. Possession. Get the puck. At this level, the very smart players, especially, they think position and then possession. And what I mean by that is now, you know, a Pugh Suter, for example, the way he did on Adam Larson, if it's a 50-50 puck, instead of going to get possession of the puck, you're actually trying to set yourself up in position first. So what he does is he kind of leans into him, right? He takes a little different route to the puck where he cuts the defender off. He kind of gives him a bump. That creates the positioning, and then he can get possession. I mean, it's been that all over the ice here tonight, and that's what those 3 undersized players, in my opinion, did so well to find offensive success.
They showcased their speed, too, Joe. I mean, Jim and I were up here kind of marveling at how quick they were moving out of their zone. A lot of it was how fast your defensemen were moving the puck. I thought Logan Mailloux had a really strong performance tonight, playing over 19 minutes, but Broberg, Parayko, Mailloux, Falk, Tucker, it just felt like they weren't spending any time in the neutral zone.
Yeah, they did a great job. You know, I think the defensemen, to me, it was the best part of their game here tonight. You know, the defensemen joining the rush, creating that fast, quick transition hockey really was the difference. And, you know, Alex, it reminded me a lot of this team last year post-Four Nations break. You know, this is where their bread and butter was offensively. It was actually the defensemen joining the rush, creating so much chaos on the rush, creating even more chaos in the offensive zone, adding that fourth body down low, creating a little bit of confusion for the defending team. Seattle looked lost. I mean, they saw Mailloux coming up the ice. They saw Justin Falk kicking it to the outside and driving the net. Philip Broberg was extremely active in this game, the way he kind of led things from the outside and stuck around the bottom of the net. So when you're doing that and you're doing that well and you're getting real good safety valves and forwards coming back and supporting you, you're going to find success in this league. And I think that for St. Louis, that is the prototypical blueprint of how they will be successful. Forwards playing responsible, defensemen jumping and joining the offense and having really good support when they get caught in the offensive zone. And then you get a save every now and then. So, you know, I was talking to Eddie Olchuk on the way up here. I ran into him, talked to him for a quick minute. Of course, the broadcaster that covers a ton of national games, covered all the Olympics. And he said, you guys may be one of the best, you know, defensively transition teams I think we've seen in a very long time. Wow. Meaning the defensemen jumping and joining the rush and creating offense. Again, this is the guy that just got done calling the Olympics. So that goes to say a lot right there. And I think Jim Montgomery and Mike Weber especially need to be very proud of what the boys did, especially on that back end here tonight.
So why do you think, Joe, that disappeared early on this season?
It's a great question. I don't know.
Because it's the same defenseman with the exception of Leddy and Suter, who kind of rotated out of the lineup. It's the same guys that played last season. Is it just a matter of confidence?
You know, maybe just this, you know, heck with it. Let's just go. You know, it's been a little bit of a break. I think everyone's had a little bit of a shot to their ego, shot to their pride here.
Yeah.
Coming into this game, you know, 8 games below 500, you're not in a great spot. Sometimes that kind of freewheeling hockey, you play that inspired hockey where you're like, you're not going to hold back for any other reason. You're just going to go out there and play. I think there's a lot of sticks that were gripped a little too tight there throughout the first half of that season, especially around that Christmas month. And, you know, when you're gripping the stick tight, you're not playing loose, you're not playing free, you're not playing your ideal brand of hockey. So it could be a little bit of that, Alex. You come in off this break, you got 25 games left coming into tonight's game, and you understand where you're at in the standings. And you just go out there and you just play free hockey, you know. And being down by the bench, it was a loud bench, it was an active bench, it was a pumped-up bench. Jim Montgomery wanted to see that attitude. You know, he wanted to see the pursuit, the re-attacking, the inspired hockey, and really it was there tonight. I do not know why we haven't seen that more consistently over the stretch of the season, but we certainly saw it tonight.
You know, you guys were talking about the roster decisions that are going to have to take place once Robert Thomas returns on Friday, and we don't know what's going to happen on the trade front. We can only go off of what the roster is right here, and Joe, it seems crazy to say because he goes into the lineup. I don't know where Robert Thomas goes. I mean, Dvorsky, Snuggerud, Schenn maybe had a quieter night tonight, but you want to keep Dvorsky at that center position. Buchnevich, Neighbors, and Kyrou had another really solid night tonight. And, I mean, they may have found more chemistry with Holloway, Suter, and Berggren. They're going to have to juggle up a line that they may not want to juggle up.
Yeah, you know, I think right now you can't touch the Suter, Holloway, and Berggren line.
Not after this.
You know, I think that the Buchnevich, Kyrou line, and Jake Neighbors, not only did they, you know, get that one goal off a great rush, they had lots of chances. I think defensively they were very good. Remember, they were out there against Matty Beniers' line.
Yeah.
One of the best lines recently in the National Hockey League. That's a top line that really does drive the Seattle offense. They did a great job shutting them down and chipping in and getting a goal in that second period. So to me, that line does not get touched. I think right now, you know, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I think that it's really the Dalibor-Dvorsky line with Braden Schenn, the Jimmy Snuggerud. You know, it's only one game back, but, you know, I didn't notice them quite as much here tonight. So is it a Dvorsky maybe drops down somewhere in the lineup and you put Thomas with Schenn and Jimmy Snuggerud? I think that's probably going to be what's going to happen there. Keep in mind, Dalibor also came off the Olympics, played a ton of hockey. So I didn't really see that same spark in him here tonight, and it could just be they want to manage his work rest load here a little bit. So if Robert Thomas is back and ready to play here on Saturday, to me, he does slide in there with Schenn and Snuggerud as Dalibor-Dvorsky slides down.
It's crazy to talk about the roster crunch with that, but I mean, I guess when you think about it, Thomas has been out a majority of this season. Neighbors has been out. Suter's been out. Suter's been out. Bukestad, when he was here, was out. Snuggerud was out for a little bit. Like, they really haven't had a healthy roster in terms of the forward. And I know people hear that and say, well, that's just an excuse. I'm not saying it's why they are sitting where they're at in the record. I'm just saying it's why we never really had these conversations about roster crunch this year.
Well, and it's going to be interesting to know and find out what kind of happens there on Saturday as Robert Thomas does come back, because I don't believe I think they need to kind of move maybe one more player.
Piece, yeah, unless they put Sonny on IR, but I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's going to be some different roster decisions coming up here. Jack Finley was added.
Yeah.
I picked him up off the waiver. I thought he looked really good.
I was going to bring that up, too. I mean, your penalty kill really struggled at the end of that going into the break. And, I mean, Joe, I don't know about you, but, like, him on that penalty kill, you guys mentioned it on the broadcast, for how big he and Toropchenko is, man, that might be a massive weapon for them to get a young guy who could play penalty kill minutes.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, he's a big body, big, large frame, especially with him and Toropchenko out there. I mean, I'm watching these two kill penalties. I'm like, geez, there's just no room.
No space.
I mean, all the legs blocking shots. They play big. They play low. But they're smart. The way they use their sticks, they kind of give some deception. They, you know, keep the stick in one lane and they take away the other lane. But very disciplined player in Jack Finley. I was very impressed with his defensive side of the game. He won that big face-off that set up the Dylan Holloway hat-trick goal. And I bring that up because that's another player you added that right now I think that you don't take him out of the lineup and you want to see more of what he's got. So it's really becoming a numbers thing right now for St. Louis as Thomas does return back to the lineup here on Saturday against the New Jersey Devils.
We got another WTF line, too. I didn't even realize this until postgame.
Oh, yeah.
Finley.
Oh,
takes over for Foxa.
Oh, there we go.
WTF line.
Oh, we're
back. We're back, baby.
Back. We're getting in the playoffs. We're back,
that's
baby.
What I said. I go, well, now they're just going to go on an 11-game binge run and push their way into this one. So you have this one, Joe, and look, they play a ton of hockey in the month of March, so this is not going to be easy to pull yourself back in. I don't know if yes, you want to make the playoffs, but I think more than anything, what Jim Montgomery and even Jake Neighbors, we played the audio of it, what you want to see is what you did in this game be done for the next 5 games.
You do. Yeah, I mean, you got to figure out a way to bottle up what just happened in tonight's game and learn about what type of system and what type of identity you're going to want to play with, and then you just go forward with it. You know, like I said, there's a group down there, an Inspire group, that really has nothing to lose at this point, and they're playing that inspired hockey. You know, you got a game against the Devils at home on Saturday, and then like you mentioned, Alex, you know, starting on March 1, I think I did the math the other day, I think you're home without a game like 5 days out of the next 36. So there's just not a ton of time being home. There's
No
not a lot of
practice time.
home games. Yeah, I mean, it's just very little practice time. It's going to be a really hard little push, not to mention you're looking at this Blues team that's going to be going out to the West Coast 3 different times, Western Canada once, Western California twice. So you're thinking time zone change. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a tough stretch here on the bodies, and certainly they're going to be using every one of those bodies, as we're mentioning, that they have quite a few.
Well, you get one more home game before that road trip to the West Coast. Joe, great call tonight, man, and go rest the pipes. We'll talk Saturday.
Sounds good, Alex. Talk to you Saturday.
He's Joe Vitale. Let's hear from Dylan Holloway. By the way, that is our Ted Drew's 3 takeaways. Ted Drew's real custard, real tradition. It's Ted Drew's. Let's get our soundbite of the night and hear from Dylan Holloway.
The soundbite of the night is presented by Rocket Convenience Stores. Fuel your car and your daily cravings at Rocket Convenience Stores.
Dylan, why was your line so effective tonight?
Yeah, playing with 2 really smart players. I feel like we were able to, find some chem early and just kind of read and react where each other were out there, and we were talking on the bench too. So, yeah, I think the puck was just kind of finding us tonight.
It's the first time you played with Bergeron, I believe.
Yeah.
How do you pick up on his tendencies and how to make things click with him, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I liked his game a lot. He's a super smart player, always trying to make plays. From watching these past 20 games, I was able to kind of get a good grasp on his game, and I knew he'd always be looking to make the right play, and he's got a lot of patience out there too. So I was just trying to find open spots, and that first pass he made to me in the first period was a great pass, and it's a special play there.
You started the season coming off that other injury, and then you came back from the ankle. Is this the healthiest you felt with this break?
Yeah, I mean, definitely healthier than when I tried to come back against Edmonton. The ankle injury is kind of a tough one to come back from, but it feels great now, and I'm just hoping I can stay healthy the rest of the way here.
How important was it for you to come back and make an immediate impact like you did tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It definitely feels good. Being out like that, it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, especially getting re-injured, and it's tough watching. You want to be helping the team, being with the boys. So it was great. It was great just to be back. I just wanted to enjoy it, and honestly, if I didn't have an impact in that, I was just grateful to be able to play. So, but it's obviously nice to have an impact on the score sheet.
How much of, was the biggest difference just skating? Was the physicality? Where was the biggest difference that you felt in terms of being healthy and being back?
Yeah, I mean, I think I took a lot of time being out, watching a lot of hockey, watching games intently, watching other players too. So I think just my brain, I think I was thinking a little bit more, and I feel like the best players are also the smartest players. So that's one area in my game I think I need to get better at, and I was able to do that a little bit just from watching so much hockey, being out. So I think that helped me a lot, and then obviously just being back healthy, being able to skate. Skating is a big part of my game, so just trying to get back to 100% in that area.
When you watch games, but just a game like this, can it help your morale, I guess, just because of everything you have been through?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, it's nice to build confidence like that. Yeah, it definitely feels good, and it's nice to know I can produce again and just be back playing healthy and make it through a game without an injury. So yeah, I'm just happy to be back, and definitely feels good.
When you watch games and pick up on things, what areas of the game are you looking for? Do you have set things in mind?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm watching our team game, I'm just watching our systems, watching where to find open ice, and a lot of watching other teams, I guess, and just watching their top players. I feel like so many players are good at producing every night, and they all do it in different ways. So just trying to pick up on little things of how guys get space, how they get the puck at full speed, or how they get the puck with space. I think that's a skill in itself. So just trying to find ways to do that, and I think it helps.
This start tonight, I think it was first 8 shots on goal for you guys. What led to that?
Yeah, I mean, we knew they were coming off a back-to-back, so we want to get on them early. I think we say it all the time, playing north, playing to their goal line, and having that shooting mindset. I think that's a big identity of ours, and that's where we're going to try to get to these last 25 games. So yeah, I think that was our mindset going into it.
Well, and they played it to a T. I mean, they brought it to Seattle immediately. Seattle looked scrambled with the exception of about a 10-minute stretch there in the first period, and never were able to grab the momentum back. And that was just because the Blues played a suffocating brand of hockey. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll hear from Jim Montgomery, and then I'll provide my final look and get a couple of your thoughts as well over on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. A 5-1 winner. The Blues take down the Seattle Kraken. Alex Ferrario with you. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
St.
Alex Ferrario back with you to tell you about my friends out at Classic Air Care. You only got a couple days left in the month of February, so if you're in the market for a new HVAC system, take advantage of it now. February is a great time of the year to purchase an HVAC system if you're looking for good deals, which who isn't looking for good deals? But Classic Air Care has got an even better perk because if you purchase one in February, they'll throw in a free water heater for your HVAC system. And it's a company that I have trusted since 2016 with both HVAC systems that I've had in my home, but secondarily, it's a company that my dad has trusted with his home for the last 30-plus years. They've been making people comfortable since 1926. Don't believe me? Believe the thousands of positive reviews that they have over on their Google Plus page, like this one from Barbara. Travis was great, has excellent customer service skills, showed us and explained what he did to help today. Very detail-oriented and helpful to his customers. Can't say enough good things about Travis. Call them today. Get that incredible customer service and incredible technicians that come out to take care of your home, and use a company that has been trusted since 1926. That's Classic Air Care and ClassicAirCare.com.
Welcome back to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.
Final time tonight here on our extended postgame coverage, the fourth period, along with Jordan Deacon, Jim Hewer. I'm Alex Ferrario. Again, we're live up on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. This one from 3-1 Teeth 97 asked how Finley looked tonight. And we talked about him a little bit with Joe. He didn't do anything that jumps off the page at you, but I thought he was very noticeable on the penalty kill. Like, this penalty kill has been bad this season. 29th in the National Hockey League. He's got size. He's got the ability to win face-offs. Let me see what his face-off numbers were at tonight. Jack Finley wrapped up tonight. 38% from the face-off dot as he won 5 of 13. So not great, but won a couple of pivotal ones in terms of defensive zone coverage. But the size and his stick length and the ability. He was out there for one penalty kill in the second period. They were out there for the entire penalty kill, the entire 2 minutes, and he was gassed by the time he got back to the bench. But when you've got the size on that penalty kill and the tenacity, that's where you have success. And to have a Toropchenko and a Finley on top of a Broberg and a Parayko, that's a four-man unit that is not going to allow anything in the middle of the ice. So, again, it's the first game. I guarantee he was anxious and had the first game jitters of playing for the Blues, a team that he has wanted to play for the longest time. At least that's what he said. I'm expecting that to just continue to go up. But at least for the now, Jack Finley was noticeable. And to me, that's what's important. So let's hear what Jim Montgomery thought about his team's performance tonight after a 5-1 winner over the Seattle Kraken.
It's time to hear from the head coach, Jim Montgomery, presented by Fisher Window and Door Store, offering quality American-made Marvin windows and doors. Visit their showrooms in Brentwood or East Alton, Illinois.
I thought they hounded pucks really well. I thought they used their speed, and they created a lot of turnovers on the forecheck. And then in the offensive zone, they were connected in triangles. And they won races, and they had a great net front presence. And you look at the Suter goal is the best example of it.
It's the best player that having Bill Holloway back.
His speed, his tenacity, you know, his ability to add depth scoring and main scoring, you know, it's just when he's playing like he did tonight, and we saw it a lot right before he got injured, you know, he's a difference maker.
His season so far this year, the injuries he's battled, like just how much can a night like tonight kind of help his mindset?
Yeah, I think it's going to relax him, you know, and propel him. I think actually the last 5 or 6 games before he got hurt right before Christmas, he was coming, and I think his mentality has remained the same.
What kind of a player Berggren can he be? You see him make high end plays so often.
Yep. Yeah, the question for him is, can he do it night in, night out? Not necessarily score, not necessarily get points, but can he generate momentum for our team night in, night out by, you know, having the habits of being above pucks, having the habits of winning battles, having the habits of creating turnovers, and he has the ability to make those plays. It's the consistency of habits and details and wanting the puck. That's the hard part for everybody, and that's what, when you guys were just asking about Holloway, that's something he got to last year consistently, and that's why he was such a dynamite player. He broke through that level. We're starting to see that with Snuggerud. I thought Snuggerud was really good again tonight. You know, he's hounding pucks, he's coming up with pucks, he's dangerous, and that's something I think Berggren can get to.
Didn't he threw the body around a little bit? What did you think about that?
Yeah, I thought his defensive stick was really good. He won 2 huge face-offs for us down the stretch, one on the PK, one on the pulled goalie situation. I thought he was in really good support position. That line created momentum for us. So overall, really good start, you know, and I think it's only going to get better as he gets comfortable with the way we play, and more importantly, comfortable being in the lineup.
Appreciation, I guess, from the coach when 2 of the goals you scored tonight were the guys that scored. They started the plays, the Kyrie breakup, and then he scores, and then Holloway on the forecheck to create his goal.
Yeah, I mean, us hounding pucks, and especially when you mention guys like Kyrou and Holloway with the speed they have, they can create turnovers and lead to really quick strike offense the other way.
Jim, physically, is the biggest difference you see with Holloway, is it the skating or is it the physicality? I mean, obviously, the skating seems like the obvious one, but he also is a pretty physical player, too.
It's those 2 things combined. That's what makes him a difference maker. Is he's physical, can win one-on-one battles, can win battles 1 against 2. When he's skating and being physical, the rest of his game is just organically really happens.
The offside challenge, you think you saw that in real time? You thought the puck came out of the zone there?
Oh, I didn't see it in real time, no. Elliot Mondeau and Ryan Stacey, Elliot Mondeau was on it before, as they scored, it was already radioed into us that this is offside. So it was, thank God they had the view. I was wondering what was taken, and they came over, and I'm like, you got to have the view from the other angle. I'm like, it's pretty distinctive. I don't know. I just know from where the penalty box side.
Jim, is this one?
The last one showed where everyone went, oh!
Is this one of the more complete games of the season for the group?
It was a really good 60 minutes. I don't know if it was the most complete game. We're just getting back into it. There's moments, the last 8 minutes of the first period, and there's other moments where we had lulls and made some either poor decisions or lack of continuity in how we want to play and how fluid the game should be. And Seattle has a tough schedule starting. I think every team that had to back-to-back to start lost tonight. So I don't want to get too excited about beating a team on a back-to-back after they just got back. We got to make sure we continue to build.
It's time to take a look back at tonight's game with the final look.
Driven by Pure Performance. Only stop for all your aftermarket vehicle needs.
I like that. That's how Jim Montgomery looked at it, and you'd expect him to. I mean, look, you don't get too high, you don't get too low, you just kind of go game by game. It was a really good game, but you have to find a way to carry it over, and that's what we ended it with Joey talking about. It's like, look, it's great the way they played, but if they're talking the same way 5 games from now, then they've done something that we haven't seen them do this season. But, look, I want to end the final look on Dylan Holloway because – I think some people will hear this and say, oh, you're just making excuses. I'm not. I think the Blues are where they're at because as a team, they struggled this season. They did not have consistency. They did not play well defensively, and they haven't found their identity. But you also have to put into the conversation not having a healthy Dylan Holloway. And he was healthy early on before the high ankle sprain. You were healthy for the first 2 months. And you still didn't play well. I understand that. But watching what Dylan Holloway did tonight, that's the production that they missed. When you have a guy who, when he's everywhere on the ice, and net front presence, a shot that you have to respect, as Pew Suter told us, speed, great defensive play as he saved a goal on the other end. That's the difference maker that I remember we talked with Steve Ott about post games earlier in the season of we just don't have a guy that steps over the boards and can make a difference with one play. Man, that's Dylan Holloway. You saw it last year in the Four Nations. He's got to break the narrative with the injury surrounding him. It's what Doug Armstrong talked about. It's what Curbs mentioned on the broadcast. But just like I think Jimmy Snuggerud and Dalibor Dvorsky and Philip Broberg and Otto Stenberg, the development of those players are critical for the Blues' next step towards what they're trying to accomplish. Dylan Holloway is a massive piece of that. And if they can keep him healthy, if he can stay healthy, but if he can provide that level of skill, that's one of the missing pieces that I think the Blues have lacked this season. Again, I understand he was there. He was healthy early on this season. I'd argue that helped because he was coming back from that significant injury and surgery that he had with the, forgetting what it was. It was whatever he had at the end of the regular season, the hip flexor, the muscle that completely tore off the bone. You're coming back from that. You're not the same person you were prior to that injury. So there was a little bit of getting back to your own form. And then right before the high ankle sprain kicked in, I remember Jim Montgomery talking about how he had been playing some of his best hockey, and then the injury happened. Again, I'm not saying they're going to turn into a playoff team. I'm not saying Dylan Holloway is healthy all season long and this team's pushing for a Stanley Cup. No, I think the issues that they had were issues that they would have had if everyone stayed healthy on this roster this season. But what I'm getting at is what I saw from Dylan Holloway tonight is a guy that pulled the best out of his line mates, and the line mates pulled the best out of him. It's what we saw him do with Jordan Kyrou last season. It's what I think Dylan Holloway can do. He's one of those guys that makes everybody better around him. And if they can get that healthy for an 82-game stretch, I think that's another one of those difference-making players on the ice for the Blues. Health is the important part. I'll be fascinated to see what it looks like in the final 24 games of the regular season. So that'll close it down for us tonight after a 5-1 victory over the Seattle Kraken, which, by the way, go over to our social medias. Mike Ryder and Jordan Deacon doing phenomenal work. I sent them the video. If you heard it on the radio call, our hat trick hat, broadcast booth hat trick hat that we have. Curbs has it every broadcast, whether he's doing television or just radio. And if there's a hat trick, it's thrown, and it has to, well, you hope it makes its way to the ice. You're relying on the fans to get it there. Tonight, it got there. It's just, it got to the ice before the play resumed after the hat trick, and then at the end of the game, it finally made its way onto the ice. But if you want to watch it, Mike Ryder spliced the game audio that Jordan Deacon pulled and put it with the video. So head over to our X account at 101 ESPN. You can see it on Instagram as well, Facebook 101 ESPN STL, and you can watch the whole hat make its way with the call from Curbs and Joey. It was great work by both Mike Ryder and Jordan Deacon, so make sure you check out that material over on our socials. Blues will be back at it on Saturday when they start a back-to-back, a home game against the New Jersey Devils, 4 o'clock puck drop with a 3 o'clock First Community Credit Union pregame show that begins right here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. A huge thank you to Jordan Deacon for the great work in our studios, Jim Hewer up in the broadcast booth, Shelby Sheehy helping us down with the headsets, and Jeremy Rutherford helping us out in the Blues locker room. I'm Alex Ferrario. Hope everyone has a great rest of their evening. So happy to be back with 24 games left to play as the Blues take down the Kraken tonight, 5-1. We'll talk Saturday, Blues and Devils, right here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN.
Thanks for listening to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.